welcome to Gab and Jam, episode 220.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
Today is another age-old topic. We like those. Songwriting. Which is better, quality or quantity?
Okay. So I don't necessarily believe that they're mutually exclusive.
Okay, what do you mean?
Okay, so to me, I don't think you get to quality without quantity.
Okay.
You know,
all
so
right.
I think quality is a subset of quantity.
Okay, so you want
So,
care to
so
explain?
meaning that it may take you writing 100 songs to get to 10 songs that are good quality wise.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
All
Is
right.
that the more you write, it's for instance, it kind of goes to you make a lot of shots by taking a lot of shots.
Right. Okay.
Right? That you have a better chance of hitting 50, scoring 50 baskets,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you take 300 shots
Mm-hmm.
than if you took 50 shots.
Okay.
So
All
if you
right.
took 50 shots, you got to hit on all 50
Right.
in order to get to that 50. If you take 300,
Right.
you see what I mean? You take 300 shots. If you get 300 shots to make 50, you feel like you have a better chance of hitting 50.
Yeah.
If you take 1,000 shots, if I say I'll give you, you could take 1,000 shots, right,
Right.
to make 50, and I'll give you $100 if you can do that.
Right.
You say, okay, I'll take that in a minute, right?
Right.
Whereas if I say you get 50 shots to make 50, you'll be like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that.
After you missed 2 or 3, you already missed the mark.
Right. So that's why I say that
I
it's
love
a
it.
subset of that. Because, within the songs that you write, you're going to feel like, okay, I at least got maybe 1 or 2 good ones
Yeah.
in that 100 that I wrote. And not only that, sometimes it could be, what could be a quality song could end up being an amalgam of maybe song 70,
Yes.
song 35,
Yes, right.
song 2, and song 99.
I love
You know what I mean?
it.
You brought those together to make that one good song, but you had to write all of those different songs in order to create the one.
Okay, I love it. So originally, our points were going to be quantity over quality for these 3 reasons. However, you have found a way to meld the 2 together. And point number 1, if you want quality, you're going to need quantity.
Right.
And it goes back to that Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours to become really good at something.
Yeah.
That there's no way you can become top in your field if you don't spend the time
Yes.
of producing.
Right.
So
right.
so that's important. So that's quantity, but then you get to the quality after you have
Right.
produced so much. You learn as
Right.
you produce.
And I was listening to something on TikTok. I can't remember who the DJ or producer was. And he was talking about, learning how to do trance music. He had gone to a club and he had heard this trance music and he saw the way that the people were dancing and that kind of thing. And he decided he wanted to do it.
Okay.
However, once he decided that I'm going to try doing this, his first couple of trance beats that he did were horrible.
Okay.
Right, and he admitted that they were horrible. So it took him a while to get to that point where he was able to make, really good trance beats. Because it took him a second to figure it out.
Right.
And that's kind of what happens with songwriting, is that it takes you a while to figure it out. And I'm not even saying that once you get good at it, that you still don't, that the majority of songs that you write are probably going to be clunkers.
Right.
That's even songs that you release, just think about artists who you love, right?
That's true.
And think about, the songs that are on it. Everybody's not writing a Thriller.
Right.
Where just about practically every song on the album is a single.
Right.
Most people don't have that.
Yeah.
Most people
have some songs you skip. Be honest.
They
Right.
do. They have songs you skip, or just songs that don't mean as much to me as these other ones do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way things are. That's the way it shakes out. But again, you need that quantity in order to get to the quality. It's like, you got to have that big set in order to pull out that subset.
Right. Okay, I love it. And so that's the first thing to consider. Second thing to consider is that folks who try to be perfect miss, like you were saying before, the at bats for improving the process.
Right. Yeah.
That because and it's I'm learning the Cricut machine right now, and that's kind of what I'm finding. I'm throwing out a lot, but I have to keep trying in order to get better. There's really no way I can watch as many videos as I want, listen to as many podcasts as I want, but until I actually sit down to try to figure it out,
right,
and actually make things,
right,
that's the only way I'm going to get better. And so I need to do more of that. And
kind of going back to this other point, especially for the DIY rock star, is the fact that what you cannot do is try to wait till you get to 1,000 songs,
right,
in order to release. Or
in order
to put something out. Sometimes what you have to do is pick the best of what you have.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that before with the person that was saying, should I take down the song now that I know better?
Right.
And it's like, just keep working at it, keep putting up new ones.
Right, because in a way it's kind of like being able to share it with people and get feedback.
Yeah.
If you can, because I do know that feedback is something hard to get, so I'm not saying that you will always get feedback. But, especially if you can get feedback on things, that's a good way to improve.
Yeah.
And so.
And then it's also nice to even hear your own. I mean, I look back even at our podcast and I listen and watch the first videos, and there are some I cringe at, but then I can kind of see the growth. And I'm saying I kind of want to be transparent by not taking those down, but by continuing to release. So over the years, you can see, in our opinion, they've gotten better and better and better because there was a process of continuing to release every week.
Right, and then sometimes you find that you hit gold. Yeah. That somewhere along the way, that unbelievably at song 5 you hit gold.
Yeah.
But you didn't hit it again until song 310. You know what I mean? Whatever. That sometimes it does happen early, then sometimes it doesn't. But again, it's sort of like, you kind of have to get to that quantity, but what you want to do is release along the way.
I like that. So
you
that's
don't want to wait
thing to consider
to be perfect before you, and that's the other thing. Don't even. Perfection is something you're not going to hit.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So the last thing to consider is you miss the satisfaction if you do not, I guess, to go into your point, release, but then continue to produce new songs. There is a certain motivation that comes from feeling like you are progressing. Yeah. And you get that. Right. If you actually produce something. Whereas if you never produce, you never get that thing where you say, well, geez, I guess I'm going back to even be with the Cricut. At least I got this first thing done. I can finally say I didn't throw the whole thing out because it wasn't completely crap. Yeah. And so that next time I can, it gives me more motivation to sit down and try the next thing.
But allow yourself to create crap. You gotta do that. Even stuff that you come back and say, oh, I think that's crap. Yeah. You've got to allow yourself to do that and to build on it. Yeah. Because believe it or not, that kind of helps you to build, to go to the next level with stuff, is by saying, hey, this is not quite it or whatever else. Yeah. But then again, sometimes it's sort of like, I think when we did like Sugar Fit, and that's kind of like funky stuff, and I think about funky stuff that we've done before in the past. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there are songs that we've done that I feel like, okay, I would stack that up against anything that's on Sugar Fit. Mm-hmm. So I mean, and so there are times when you feel like, oh man, we did hit like this funky gem. Yeah. Back when, and and that happens. You know what I mean? And
I was thinking about that when there might be a question about our newer project has more of a reggae world type vibe, right? And there might be a question like, where did that come from? But when you listen back to Sugar Fit, Start Over has that little bit of a flavor. So it's kind of like, I feel like the new project kind of continues, but I don't know, it's just the kernel of that turned into this whole other branch.
But it's kind of like I mean, it's kind of been there before.
Yeah,
if we go back to Welcome to My World, yeah, it's got My Brother's Keeper on it. It has The Patriot on it. Yeah, you go back even further. Or higher up, deeper in, you got Chameleon, you got Hero on it. That all have kernels of where we're going, you know, and so start over also blends well with those.
Yeah.
So that's the thing too. It's sort of like you start to, expand where you go as a songwriter, and that's what we found is that, we've constantly expanded to where we go as songwriters. And there's always something that's sitting around in the vault that we're kind of saying, what's that fit? Not quite sure what we do with this or whatever else. But it doesn't stop us from making it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that you have to give way to the moment, let it be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. I think we learned that a long time ago. That don't put too much on one individual song to be like the be-all, end-all, greatest thing that you've ever written.
Say, so short aside, we spent how long on that one song thinking it was going to be the hit, the one.
Yeah.
We redid it, I don't know how many times. And then this is when cassettes were a thing. We listened to it on a cassette, I don't know, a while later. I listened to it at work.
Yeah.
And then it sounded out of tune. And I don't know, to this day, I don't know if it was the cassette, but it was like, it was crushing because we had spent so much time and put so much energy and anticipation into this one song. And so that's why I think that was for me, that was the thing that said, okay, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
It's got to be beyond that one song that's going to save us,
Yeah, I think for me that song kind of ended up, where we did Frank Father, where it was just very raw.
Right.
Very, oh my goodness.
Okay, fuck it. We're not going to try to have that one perfect song, right?
It's just going to be what it's going to be. Yeah. And this going, and that was just a completely different thing. But at the same token, it opened the floodgates for other things to come. Yeah. And so, because it's almost like I felt like during that period of time that I needed to, or we just needed to just break everything down.
Yeah.
And kind of say, okay, and then it was the same thing with Red Hot.
Yeah.
It was kind of to say, okay, we're not going to worry about sound quality. We're not going to worry about all the rest of this kind of stuff. We're just going to worry about how this song makes us feel.
Yes.
And it was like, I'm going to sacrifice everything to make sure we retain feel.
Right.
Because we went through a period of time of doing heartless songs.
Oh, Lord.
Heartless songs that seemed like they sounded good, meaning that the sound quality was good, but nothing else was good.
Yeah. We didn't love them, and they didn't really, we were trying to imitate genres, and they didn't fit within genre.
They weren't serving any purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it was almost better to have these things where, then after a while, it was like, okay, so let's try to improve on tuning. Let's try to improve on these things, but keep the feel.
Right.
With all of these things, understand feel comes first.
Yes.
It comes first. You got to make sure that feel is good. Feel is good, because that was the thing. It was
the feel and the expression, because some of those songs, even the lyrics that I know that we were writing they didn't express who we were.
Right.
They didn't speak. We call ourselves imitating, again, styles, and it was awful. It was just, and I will readily admit, that's why you will never see those songs ever.
But that's why we needed the quantity. Again, it goes back.
Back to our topic.
It had to be created to understand that, okay, this is what we need to do. Yeah. And we needed the quantity to figure out, how do we be able to do the technical things right, but keep the feel? Yeah. Because the feel is like, that's it. Right. Because without the feel, the other stuff doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't. No.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
No.
And to this day, I'd rather have the feel and have all that other stuff be lacking than to have, all that other stuff and no feel.
We learned. But
that's just robotic.
It took all of those songs to get there, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think, or what is your opinion on this whole topic? Because this is one that people have been asking for years. What do you think about it? We'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments below. And what else?
We got Sugar Fit, so, wherever you might stream your music, go to Bandcamp, you can pick it up. You can also get it on CD Baby. Then also, we got South by Southwest that's coming up.
South by Southwest is coming up again in less than a month. So we will have preview for it, and then also, well, it's going to be things to consider before you attend a music conference, how to prepare.
Right.
And then we're going to give live streams from South by Southwest.
Right.
And then definitely we'll have our next episodes from there.
Yeah, and I think South by Southwest has been like virtual. I think it was virtual last year. So this is like the first year with South by Southwest being live, and maybe there being like a hybrid of being virtual and also people in person.
Since 2019.
Since 2019. So, we'll kind of compare and contrast what 2019 was like versus what it's like here today.
Yeah, so it ought to be interesting. It's a little nerve-wracking because, we had our spots that we had called ourselves discovering. We don't know if did they survive the pandemic.
No,
we don't know what has changed. So we will definitely be sharing all of that.
It's just going to be interesting because it's going to be like, normally you would kind of feel like, okay, I've had this experience before and so I can kind of draw upon what's been past as far as what's present's going to be like.
Yeah.
And in a way, we're not going to have that.
No, we're not.
So, which to me is a bit exciting. So
it's exciting.
Yeah, so we're not going to be at the same hotel we were at. It's going to be a lot of differences from what we had before. And so...
And since this is only our second time, in some ways... I don't know. It's still ground zero for us. So,
yeah, I mean, but it's
different.
It's more ground zero probably now because we just don't know how it's been reconstituted since the last time we were there, and so we just don't know what it's going to be like, how many people are going to be there, but it's going to be exciting just to, finally be a part of that type of thing again.
Yeah, all right. If you dig the vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.